it's Kurt at the Top Corner Hockey Studios. Thanks for watching. I'm watching lots of hockey videos, hockey games all the time, and while I'm doing this, I'm ruminating about hockey, and suddenly, I had an epiphany. Yes, I was thinking to myself how important goaltenders are and how great they are. I know, shocking, right? What a revelation. That got me thinking further, though, and I was thinking these goalies face so much pressure game in and game out that it's the only position in which they're measured by wins and losses. Wayne Gretzky has no idea how many wins he has, at least I wouldn't think he would as a player, but goaltenders are always talking about wins that matter more than save percentage, goals against, whatever, and I don't blame them. People always look at 30-win seasons, 40-win seasons when you're checking out how to evaluate goalies. So with this stroke of genius, unique genius, I thought to myself, it would be really great to create a top 10 list of the most pressure-packed saves goalies have ever made. What I've got here is this list where goalies make incredible saves in big-time situations. I think this is going to be an awesome video. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. When the Rangers and Flyers met on the last day of the 2010 regular season, the stakes could not be higher. The winner of this game would make the playoffs and the loser would go home. It was a cautious game, tied at 1 after 65 minutes, and required a shootout. After Claude Giroux scored, it was up to Brian Boucher to stop Olli Jokinen. Jokinen's shot was easily turned aside by Boucher, and with that save, Philly would ride an incredible playoff story for the next 6 weeks and go all the way to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 7 of the 1987 first-round playoff series between the Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders is fondly remembered as the Easter Miracle. For over 6 hours, these two went back and forth until Islanders won it on a Pat LaFontaine goal. But before then, Bob Mason and Kelly Hrudey traded some of the most spectacular overtime saves anyone has ever seen. First, Mason with some beauty glove stops, this one here on Bob Basson, and then another one later in OT on Dwayne Sutter. Hrudey was no slouch either. Here, he robs Bobby Gould. And then this great pad save on Dave Christian. The two goalies combined to make 127 saves that game. Thanks to Max Talbot, the Penguins were up 2-0 in the third period in the 2009 Stanley Cup Finals against the Wings. But seeking consecutive Stanley Cups is a great motivator, and Wings D-man Jonathan Ericsson scored with just over 6 minutes left in Game 7 to make the final moments very tense. With seconds left, Nick Lidstrom was able to snap one on goal from 15 feet out, but Marc-Andre Fleury does a head-first dive, stopping Lidstrom with his body, and the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. 36-year-old journeyman Dwayne Roloson was the biggest reason for Edmonton's surprise playoff success in 2006. During their second-round series against the Sharks, Edmonton was this close to falling down 3-0, but Roloson would not allow it. 56-goal man Jonathan Cheechoo had a great look in OT, but Roloson makes this remarkable glove save to basically save the Oilers' season. If this goes in, Edmonton's miracle is over the next night. Instead, Edmonton would win Game 3 in triple overtime, and then the next 3 games as well, and take the series from the Sharks in 6. Although the Florida Panthers were down 3-0 to the Colorado Avalanche in the 96 Stanley Cup Finals, and everyone knew the Avs were going to win the Stanley Cup in Game 4, John Vanbiesbrouck still played the game of his life. Colorado fired 56 shots at the Beezer over the course of 5+ periods. As the two played next goal wins, all-star defenseman Sandis Ozolinsh had 2 beauty chances to end it, but Vanbiesbrouck was unflappable. First, Forsberg sets up Ozolinsh, but the Beezer catches the deflection. Then, under even more pressure, Beezer stones Sandy on a breakaway. Too bad for Vanbiesbrouck, he couldn't stop them all, but that doesn't take away from his heroics. Calgary finished an astounding 43 points ahead of Vancouver during the 88-89 season. Yet Vancouver pushed the President's Trophy winners to 7 games in the first round. In overtime of the 7th game, the Canucks had some terrific scoring chances, but Mike Vernon simply rose to the challenge and went inhuman. Check out these 3 unforgettable saves in OT. First, a toe rob on Petri Striko. Sorry, Finland, I probably butchered that one. Then this lovely save on Stan Smeel in overtime. And lastly, another great glove stop on Tony Tanti. No way that should have stayed out. Jiminy Crickets, what goaltending from Vernon. I mean, my gosh. Can you imagine making these 3 superhuman saves in OT in Game 7? These are some of the best saves ever, even without coming up in Game 7. Rookie Cam Ward was the story of the 2006 playoffs. Taking over from a less effective Martin Gerber in the first round, Carolina rode Ward to the finals. In Game 1 versus Edmonton, with the score tied at 4, Ward stretched out to make this ridiculous glove save on Sean Horkoff. Shortly after his big save, Rod Brindamore would capitalize on this Oiler goof. He tucks it in the empty net to give Carolina the lead with 32 seconds left. But Edmonton didn't quit, and in the final seconds, Ward again was forced to rob Horkoff blind with another dazzling glove save. My good heavens, Ward was something else then. Hockey fans of the 70s will no doubt remember this one, but for younger fans, this is probably a forgotten, huge save in a big series. Montreal Canadiens rookie goalie Ken Dryden became a household name during the 71 playoffs. His unexpected net-minding got the underdog Habs all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals against Chicago. Late in Game 7 with Montreal up 3-2, Dryden sees Jim Pappen out of the corner of his eye and gets a pad down to rob him. Look, Pappen thinks it's in. Montreal would hang on to win the Cup, and Dryden would win the Conn Smythe. Mike Richter was one of the most focused goalies I've ever seen. He was captain serious of hockey before Jonathan Toews was old enough to know what serious was. Richter dealt with tremendous pressure being the goalie of the Rangers, plus New York was desperately close to breaking the 54-year Cup curse. In Game 7 of the 1994 Stanley Cup Finals against Vancouver, New York saw their 3-goal lead shrink to 1, and everyone knew this was going to be a great finish. In the fading moments of the game, Vancouver's Martin Gelinas nearly tied it, but Richter dove all the way out to make this incredible Cup-saving stop. The save even cost Richter his glove for a second. That's how much effort he put into keeping this puck out. Wow. I don't normally do honorable mentions, but I'm going to this time. Needing a win against the Devils to make the 2007 playoffs, the Islanders were up 2-0 with less than 5 minutes to go in the game before John Madden scored twice, including the equalizer with less than a second to go to send the game into overtime. The game progressed into the shootout. Viktor Kozlov gave the Islanders a leg up in the skills contest, but it came down to Wade Dublowitz and Sergei Brylin. Brylin was poked, and the Islanders won the game 3-2, giving them 92 points, one more than the Maple Leafs, and thus, Islanders made the postseason. For the second time in 6 years, Calgary and Vancouver treated hockey fans to an incredible first-round series. Up 3-1, the perpetually playoff underachieving Flames just couldn't get the job done. The Canucks came storming back and tied the series. Gus Adams even scored with less than 4 minutes to go in the third period of Game 7 to send the game to overtime. It was really exciting. In overtime, Theoren Fleury, Kelly Kissio, and Robert Reichel are on a 3-on-1. Fleury feeds Reichel with a beauty pass, and Reichel snaps it short side. But Kirk McClain makes one of the greatest saves of all time in the playoffs, kicking out his right leg and booting the puck off the goal line. This is a beauty save at any point, but in overtime of Game 7 and on a 3-on-1, McClain makes the biggest pressure save ever. This really is the 10-bell save of all 10-bell saves. You know what's awesome about those saves, despite being awesome saves, is that I watched a lot of those. Obviously, I wasn't alive in 1971. I didn't see that. And I was really young in 1987. I didn't see that one either. But the rest of them I watched, especially that 94 series, Calgary and Vancouver. What a great series that was. I remember talking to my buddy Vankman afterwards. He was a huge Canucks fan, still a Canucklehead, and he was over the moon that Kirk McClain made this fabulous save, and then later on in double overtime, Pavel Bure scored on Vernon to send the Canucks past the first round. Of course, the rest is history. They nearly won the Stanley Cup. If not for that huge Richter save on Jelena late in Game 7 of 1994. What an awesome playoff year 94 was. As much fun as this list was to make and to think about, I know I had to leave a lot out of there. It's very difficult making these top 10 sometimes because I have to leave some great stuff out. So I'd really like you guys to tell me, what big pressure saves did I have to leave out? What were some that you watched and you have good memories of? You know, one that came to mind as I was thinking about this list, and with the Olympics so close by, was Tommy Salo's huge stack-the-pad glove save on Paul Kariya to secure Sweden the gold medal at the Lillehammer Games. But I wanted to keep this to the NHL level. Still, if you guys want to share stuff from international hockey or other things, please write them in the comments. It's always exciting to see what you guys like to suggest and great memories you have of fantastic pressure cooker saves. These goalies really don't get enough credit. Please continue to like and subscribe. I'm Kurt. This is Top Corner Hockey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.